HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community. They also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does! And that might be the knockout punch.
Salutations, y'all. Another episode of Fangs up here, and the other side of the camera, if you can see it, it'd be hilarious. Got my little man's in the room. Why is my dad looking all funny at me? But that being stated, as always, big shout out to HBCU Digital Network. This is home. So shout out to the Black Techies, Herb Seward, and the crew over there. And man, after last night, you got hope in that basketball program. You're better than a lot of us. Seeing what these Twitter streets are asking for, and just gonna tell y'all, it's not gonna happen. Like, ain't nobody getting fired. They may quit, they may resign. They sure as sugar ain't getting fired. So, but we're gonna try to hit a few things up. Talk about the men's basketball program, women's basketball program, kind of the state of what's going on there. Also, softball and baseball got a little something going on there as well. And lastly, just gonna try to make sure, kind of see if y'all notice, like, that district around campus is becoming different. It's not becoming, it is different. So that's starting off, and this is with no show notes. So normally I got my notes to the left to the right, but it is daddy daycare tonight. So I've gone from helping one child with homework to the other. So started off with the girl because I just had to stay on her butt a little more than the boy. The boy is a little more trustworthy. So that being stated, we're working on animal biomes and stuff like that. So I'm a real parent. I'm one of them. I'm a real dad. That being stated, though, fix my top button up. Man, if you came away last night watching that basketball game, and full of transparency, I didn't make it over there. It was kind of, the Ticketmaster website wasn't working. I'm just gonna call it spade a spade. I was like, well, I'll buy tickets. I'll go and I'll get them online. And I just knew I wasn't gonna drive that far and not be able to get tickets, especially when it's bike week in Daytona. I already don't like that kind of traffic anyway, so to kind of willingly go over there, it was a bit much for me. So I actually watched them online. I actually shared the links on both the FQ Family Twitter page as well as the Fangs Up Twitter page to the game. They were on the Cat's Eye live feed that BCU utilizes. I mean, it was what it was. And for the women's game, I mean, we had some standout players, but you kind of, it was closer than I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie. I really thought, especially after the first game, it wasn't going to be quite as close as it was, but it was a strong finish for the season. You still have a losing record. You do have more wins you had last year. And one of the things that you're definitely going to come away with this season saying is that we have to address the depth issue. That cost us a lot of games. Depth and lack of depth hurt us. We desperately need to either reevaluate how we train our players or just kind of look at some of the different ways that those student athletes got injured and try not to repeat those things. But long story short, that was what really killed us throughout the season. I will say I have a little more faith in what Coach Pillow is doing, just because I could see where a lot of the problem was numbers. It was bodies, less than it was style. I'm a true believer in the statement, the idea that styles make fights. And I feel like the style that FAMU plays, women's and men's wise, can work. Like I said, I got a little more confident in the women's right now, just because where we're at right now, you can see where there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know if Coach Pillow gets us there, but there's some light there. I'm just going to be full transparency. I think the coaching search has started, if I'm being honest. And I would look no further than FAMU DRS. I mean, it's Tiffany Dawn Sykes has been to DRS a few times already. And I'm not saying that that's where she's going, but I'm just saying, just by looking at some of the moves early on that I've seen, I just wouldn't be surprised if that was a move. That's a young coach. That's a coach who, she's hungry, and you might be able to get her maybe at a slight discount compared to or the similar pay to what you're getting now. I'm just saying that's something that I would look for. We also have to see what recruiting is going to look like. The Big Bend is not a basketball powerhouse. It's very rare you just have ballers coming in and out of Tallahassee. It's not a high. We don't produce a high amount of basketball talent. We produce good basketball talent, but it's not a place where you just roll through Tallahassee and every year you're seeing like 10, 15 amazing basketball players come out of there. You're not. You get a few. You have a few elite players that come out of there, but normally you don't get a lot. It's a football, baseball town, and you're able to see that. And I mean, you did lose a potential recruit to the University of Alabama, but if you're mad at that, you're not realistic about where the program is. The state of the program is what it is. It's a losing product. And for those that are, honestly, if you're calling for the coach to get fired and you ain't paid for a ticket this year, I'm not really wanting to listen to you. I ain't paid for a ticket this year. I worked games. I worked the games. I was doing stats and numbers and everything else. But the Cookman game was going to be my first one. Well, no, I paid to go to USF. So I have paid for a basketball game this year. And I only caught the last of the fourth quarter of that. I was not there the whole USF game. So if you have no intentions of paying and you're just complaining, you're a talking head. And let's be real, that's not going to pay the fee to get whatever you want to have happen with the coaches. That's not going to happen. And furthermore, if you're going to fire a coach and then have a losing record, you might as well just eat the contract for another year. I mean, it kind of is what it is. Basketball is not producing revenue right now, at least that I can see. It could, but it's not. And that being stated, it's not a good product. We're not winning right now, and the coaches mean well, but meaning well does not turn into results. And that's where hopefully next season we do get something more out of that. Hopefully we are able to get something where we can have basketball camps and other things that allow you to be able to recruit and draw in talent and draw in interest from student athletes into the program. Because right now our record says, why would you go there? And honestly, I can't explain why. I can't give you a reason why I would expect and anticipate a student athlete to want to come play for FAM, basketball wise. I can't. I mean, unless your parents went to FAMU or you're a local product or it's just your dream school, why? And that's not a comfortable thing to say, but I'm gonna be a realist with you. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to you and say this program should have 4-star level talent playing up and down the court when neither program has won more than 10 games this year. That's a tough sell, especially when you have like Grambling has hit 20 in your conference. You got 21 teams who don't have the Lawson Center as a facility. The Lawson Center is a nice facility. I'm just saying, I've been in the bowels of the Lawson Center. We have facilities that we don't have at the football stadium at the Lawson Center. Like you have a dedicated press area, really decent setup. You go in there, you can interview the coaches in, out, great. And you probably can hear my kiddos in the background, but it just kind of is like it's a nice facility. You got to get a winning product in there. So, yeah, I mean that's just where I'm at with it. Like right now, I'm not overly frustrated with it, but I'm also not overly excited about it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all about what it is. It just is what it is. Now with the men's program, I do think it's time for a new voice potentially, but again, some of that is I don't know how much is game plan, and again, you did lose a big man, but early on in that game against Cookman, man, we were driving the basket. I mean, the game was close. It was really close until halftime. And then after halftime, not gonna lie to y'all, I was like, I'm gonna hit the shower real quick. Let me take a quick shower. I'm gonna come back. Next time it was getting beat. And I was like, yeah, that'll do it. Because Cookman had a dry spell shooting wise. I mean, you had some guys that played some important minutes and did some important things, but you still didn't quite get it all together. It didn't come together at the end of the game. And that's another thing where I'm hearing folks say TCC's right there. Why can't you get those players? You're a TCC player. Why would you go? It's a losing product. I mean, everybody wants to win. Everyone wants to go to the league. Your best player last year, he didn't go to the league. He went very close, G League, and he really carried the team. You saw how important he was. But you're also seeing this year where you got guys that could carry the team. They get no burn, no PT at all. Some games they don't play. And you notice when those guys play, Domingo Smith, game looks different. And the question is, why aren't they playing? And that could be an internal thing that honestly we don't know the answer to. That could be something that is personnel wise or behavior wise, what have you. But what we're not seeing is W's and L's or W's. We're seeing a bunch of L's. Now we did see where one of our potential recruits hit a game-winning shot. I believe that was against Jones High School. You need that, but you need more of that. We need FAMU needs at least 2 scorers. I mean, you would really like to have 3. I mean, a good college basketball team could thrive with 3 good scorers and 3 scorers and 2 rebounders. Hey, you gotta make up a really good team. Last year you had that. You had one dominant scorer. Then you had 2 guys who they could get theirs when they needed to, when you needed them to. And you had 2 other guys that were like, hey, somebody got to pip every once in a while. And it just seems like, and even the BCU commentators made the point, it's kind of one-on-one basketball for quite a while. And that only works so far because once that one guy starts not making shots or gets out of rhythm, looking real rappish. Like it's not gonna work. And that's just kind of where it was. I mean, the season ends for both programs. Neither makes the SWAC tournament. And that's a great savings of money because they weren't going to do much in the tournament. They were going to get beat. It's not a lack of faith in the product, but it's just being a realist. I mean, we can lie to each other and say, oh, man, we should have got a shot. Or we can be real and say, this wasn't it. And this year, it wasn't it. Hopefully next year is better, especially because those coaches are both in contract years. And if they're not, it's going to be some change. And to me, the worst of it is, y'all know I'm a Coach Pillow stand, but the worst is for the men's coach. Coach McCullum has really rebuilt that program. Like, go back and look and see what he's done in his time as head coach. And you're going to notice when he got there, that program had been sorry for a long time. And it kind of has come full circle that it's gotten back to being not very good. But at the same point, you would love for him to go out on a high note. I'm just saying, for me, I don't want to see him go out on a low note. I want him to have something really solid to talk about. So, but that being stated, y'all, go take a 6-second break. Won't close the door because the kids are in the background and they're talking and having fun. So, this is Fangs Up.
Fangs is incomplete. Intended force.
All right. Yeah, that was 6 seconds. I didn't even leave. Look, I'm a real dad around out in these streets. But really though, FAMU baseball, man, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, I can't explain when you got 10 plus runs and you lose games. That's just asinine. We were up and we lost like 20-19. Like the last game, like we won the series 2-3, 2-1. But we should have swept them boys. That made no sense. I just want to win. Like I'm All right. Sorry about that. Random internet outage. It's again, I don't know what happened with that. But as I was stating with the baseball program, I'm gonna see if I can try to edit that out. But with the baseball program, I want to win. That's my reality. That's my truth. I want to win. I don't like when we get these big leads and we lose. That this is the second or third time that has happened this season. It's a pattern, and it's not a good pattern, especially even though I don't believe this counted as a conference game. This is our third or fourth time doing this. That means you could have 3 or 4 extra wins, and that looks better in recruiting. I'm just saying that's my little soapbox on there that I'm gonna jump on for the day. Um, and the other part of it, softball. Like softball is looking pretty solid. Like I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this program's giving me some hope, and I'm definitely wanting that. Like that's something that I want us to have. I want the softball program to be consistent, to be a winner. I want to be the best team in the SWAC in all sports. I'm just gonna put that out there. And when we're losing in certain sports for no stupid reason, as a fan, I'm frustrated. But as an alumnus, I'm like, why? So I understand the folks that are upset with Coach Shoot when we're losing those kind of games because why are you losing games when you score almost 20 runs? Like, okay, if you're going to the bottom of the barrel as far as pitching, that's cool, but you shouldn't lose them kind of games. Those should be games you really catch the mercy rule, if we're being honest. And we've lost 2 or 3 of those. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. And I saw somebody ask, it was a question. And it was like, well, why didn't he get the Florida State job? You and I both know that wasn't going to happen. Like, it's not even because he's not a good coach. It's because they left with bad blood. Like, that was not a good dismissal. Like, he caught blame that may not have really been deserved. So, of course, he's going to apply and aspire. But realistically, if you're from Tallahassee, and that's not going to happen. I'm just going to leave it there. That they didn't exactly do Coach Shoop right. And so that's a never going to happen, more than likely. I think they got the guy they want, and they got the guy that fits them. We should just do better as far as providing facilities and ensuring we're able to monetize all of our athletic programs better than we are. Now the other one, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but the FAMU little area around College Town is a district. Like it is a district. It's a actual retail district where people there's a new hotel going down there. This is a revenue producing district, and at a certain point, I'm wondering if FAMU's missing an opportunity to truly maximize how much money we get and how much money we bring in. Just saying, like, start thinking about it like this, and think about it like this: if you had some more hotels, more hotel spaces around FAMU, and truly turned it into more of a not just a university but an entertainment district that connected to College Town, I'm thinking you would generate additional revenue. You just think about homecoming. Granted, on that backside of the stadium, there's not much you can do hotel wise, but coming up, and if you start filling those up with dorms, and if you find a viable connection to that College Town area, besides just kind of having people walk up the hill, I think you can have a little something there. Again, I said it last year. FAMU really needs to explore shuttle services for sporting events and other things like that, because that is a area it's its own district of town. Like when I was in college, I used to walk from FAMU to FSU. It was cheap, but I'm just gonna be real with y'all. You're gonna go a hole in the hotel down there. You're gonna have 3 hotels that are all across the street from each other. And I understand where that Shell station is for right now, but I'll be real with you. I would be surprised if that Shell station stays there forever. I mean, that's another site where you can put another hotel. You have 4 hotels all right there, and there's a Publix down the street. I'm just saying, as that's an opportunity. Just think about the kind of money that you're going to make on homecomings, the kind of money you make when Florida State has a home game. Those are opportunities. The kind of money that you can make even when session is in. College Town is not far from the state capitol. You can literally walk from there to the state capitol. It's a great area as far as a potential business. And I'm just saying it has some potential. And then you have the railroad district in between the two, which has that artsy vibe and things like that. FAMU has been surrounded on its north side. It's being surrounded by a business district that you're not truly connected to. Florida State is very connected to that business district. I mean, it's not a good walk from Doak. I'll be honest though. Yeah, the walk from there and the walk to Bragg, that walk to Bragg might not be quite as bad as you think. Especially when you start thinking about FAMU has vendors, FSU don't. You could literally walk up the hill, walk straight down the street. You had the vendors for the FAMU games. There are no vendors at the Florida State games. I mean, you may have a couple people like sell one or two things around the corner, but it's not like we're at Bragg. You literally have Perry Street, where there's a whole district there. There's a whole, not district, but there's a whole literally outdoor marketplace. You don't have that at Florida State. And so I'm just pointing out that I think we have maybe missed the mark a little bit, because I do understand we've recently bought some dorms or some apartments that are in that area that are going to be converted into dorms, but you're also tearing down dorms and you're replacing dorms much slower than you're tearing them down. And we might be missing an opportunity to truly connect to a money making area and to also connect the two, I don't want to say the two universities, but to truly connect to the district there. I mean, as I stated, FAMU really needs to truly, on game day, explore a shuttle service, give people a central parking area and things like that, because that takes a lot of strain off of some of your older customers and things like that. But it also helps reduce congestion, but it also can help push money into your vendors' pockets. Think about if you dropped off your patrons, whatever you want to call them, that are using the shuttle service in front of the parking garage. On the other side of that parking garage is right there by the vendors. I mean, I know it's kind of an interesting U-turn right there. You know, I'm gonna let some of y'all make a little more sense than I can at this moment in a second. But just spitballing that out there, you could really create an opportunity to where these vendors are maybe doubling, tripling some of what they make, and you get to, bump up your fee for the vendors to coach. And so that way, okay, well, for the weekend, I know you're gonna make $15,000-$20,000. I'm gonna charge you 2, 3. You're saying like, and that's those numbers are not accurate. That's not research based. That is a thrown out there number. But I'm just saying, if you're connected to that college town area and you truly continue to work and utilize the university's facilities as a entertainment district, you now can generate additional revenue. One of the problems we have with Bragg is that outside of football season, it's really not making any money. It's just not. But it could be. The opportunities are there, and I won't say they're endless, but they are there. Considering, especially even the Lawson Center, we've started to have robotics competitions and things like that. That's a facility that is definitely underutilized. And I just personally, as a fan and as an alumni, I really feel like if we were able to be a little more connected, we could bring some major events and major activities there. What about having some of the concerts for the students? You can have it at the Lawson Center, or hey, have a free concert. Have, I don't know, whoever the rapper the children listen to these days. I'm be old. Have them have a performance where, much like Florida State did at Doak Campbell Stadium, free for the students, The public has to pay a nominal fee and have the students come in. And what that does is, it was TI when I was at Florida State. So I got to see TI for free because I worked there at the time. But you go there, you sit in your area. You, if you want VIP, you pay for VIP. I mean, you don't get VIP for free, but have that come out of the student fees and whatnot, and have them be like, hey, Rich Homie Quan or whoever, Kodak is coming to FAMU, and have that be the Be Out Day concert. Oh, okay. And instead of having it, I mean, you could have it on the practice field if you want to, but instead of having it on the practice field, have it on the football fields, maybe the day before, or that Saturday night, sorry, and start making it such that Bragg is making money for itself and generating additional revenue for itself. Like, we just have to find a way to connect the university with those other money making opportunities that do exist out there, because right now you got 4 Saturdays in the fall, sometimes 5, where that place is making some decent money. And so it's just an idea, it's just a thought, that I've got up there, because right now, what are our revenue producing sports outside of football? I mean, it sure as hell ain't basketball. I don't begrudge anybody who didn't want to pay for that product. I didn't know there were season tickets until the season started. So I'm not mad at you if you don't want to pay for that. Baseball games are free. Softball games ain't. I think softball does charge a nominal fee, like $5, and it's worth it. I mean, it's a good product. Tennis, I think tennis is free. Like, you start looking at a lot of our athletic events and competitions, and part of the reason they don't generate money is because we don't charge money. And that, I mean, that's as however you want to take it, it's true. Even if you charge $5 and students get in for free, just saying, like, I think students should get in for free for all sporting events. That's what their fees pay for. But alumni like myself, you know, charge $5, $10. It's not like we're gonna stop coming to the events because you're charging $5 when it used to be free. I already drove across town to get there if I'm home. And if I'm on that side of town, I already went down the street. $5. Like, we have to find a way to do better about that. That's just, again, that's just kind of noticing, like, the city around FAMU is growing. And I don't want us to miss many of those opportunities, because the other thing that's starting to happen outside of the neighborhood, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, approaching time, and I do apologize about the internet going weird. But some of the older people in those neighborhoods are starting to leave us, and you're starting to have private developers that are renting out those properties, and that's fine. But at the same point, sometimes those are opportunities for the university to expand and to then purchase those properties, redevelop them, and then start acquiring land so that you can repurpose it. Because one of the things that's going to happen, especially if you're thinking 10, 20 years down the line for FAMU, the university is going to have to expand, because you have to, just in order to survive, the university has to get bigger. Like, you have to have more land for this and more land for that, and you have to be able to increase those enrollment numbers, and you have to take advantage of the fact that we are in a time period where a lot of Black and brown students want to go to institutions where they feel comfortable, where they look around and it's like, oh crap, I'm the majority. Like, there's a difference when you walk around campus and it's got a little bit of that Wakanda vibe to it. And you're like, okay, Wakanda forever, let's go. Like, there's a difference about that. And I'm not saying it's bad for those students who go to PWIs, but there's a noticeable difference when you walk around and you say certain things and you're just like, yeah, I just said it, whatever. And then you said it and you're like, I'm focused on whatever. And you're like, oh, I forgot y'all can't relate. So just saying, we've got to take advantage of that. And one of the best ways is to do our best to try to connect with College Town, because it's not going to stop. The people that have invested in that, and they're going to keep trying to invest and make money off of it. And some of that money needs to make its way to Florida A&M University. That's my big thing on that right there. So, but I got to finish helping children with homework. So before we go out though, quick recap, and again, no show script today. We on full daddy mode today, and it is: do you have your work done? Do you have your work done? Okay, let's fix this. Let's fix that. Let's get your projects done before school tomorrow. But basketball season is over, and thank God that is that. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This was a exercise in futility for most of the year. Our basketball coaches are good people. They are very nice people. I like them personally, and I've appreciated getting to speak and talk with them. But next year is a contract year for both, and I'd be highly surprised if things don't change, that we don't see some changes. And I do have a speculation that that Crow Marty lady at DRS, she's got some eyes on her. All right, just gonna say that right now. Also talked about our baseball program. We went 2 for 3. We should have swept them, but we blew a lead late. Softball's kind of hot out there in them streets. Also, I forgot to mention this. Did y'all check out football schedule for 24? Looks like it's full. Just gonna leave that out there. Actually, I'm gonna come back to it. I also talked about College Town is still expanding. They're looking to build another hotel across the street from, I believe, that Hyatt, not far from that Shell station across the railroad track. And I feel like FAMU's missing out on some opportunities to be able to generate some revenue, because that's a great opportunity if you could connect FAMU to College Town. I think it would be something really epic as far as your opportunities to generate revenue. But I was supposed to be heading out, but I did forget. I told y'all there was no show notes today. FAMU has secured South Carolina State for 2024. Tiffany Don Sykes has confirmed that, if you checked her Twitter page, and they will be coming to Tallahassee for 24. That's why I'm making sure I say 24 and not next year, because I don't want some of y'all to get upset. But look at that for next year, next year's schedule, but 24 is looking pretty solid. I mean, you got Troy on that schedule. Like Troy is not. They're not that new team that's brand new to college football, as far as like the FBS level. And I'm slowing down my computer because I'm trying to pull it up. But also, you got that's a good get just for a fan and alumni base. I like that one. Like, that's a team that I enjoy playing. Also, and I'm rambling a little bit because I'm trying to pull it up real quick. We got Norfolk State. That's going to be in Atlanta, and that's going to be that MEAC SWAC Challenge. And then we have the University of Miami. We will get them. And so, just saying, you got a tough schedule, and I might try to hit that Miami game. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we're gonna see. Norfolk State, that's in Atlanta. That's supposed to be at the Georgia State Stadium. So at their stadium, then South Carolina State at home, then University of Miami in Miami Gardens. Obviously, first and foremost, University of Miami's not in Miami. So let's break the third wall with that. And then you have Troy, who plays in Troy, Alabama. So that's gonna be up there. So looks like your schedule for 24 is done. I'm already hoping 25 starts to get set. Like, I'm just telling y'all that Tiffany Dawn Sykes, she don't just look cute. She got a mind on her. And I don't think she stays at FAMU for more than a decade. It may be her dream school, but I think much like all of us, as you get older, your dreams progress and they develop and become more. And I think she's starting off pretty solid. Like, that was stated pretty early. I was in a space where South Carolina State's AD was like, "Yeah, I already talked to Tiff. She already trying to get us back on the schedule," and she did it. So 24 schedule is pretty well done. I'll be honest with y'all. If I'm FAMU and I'm the SWAC, we're having conversations about that 24 schedule and trying to have that really done as soon as possible. I know that's a big ask, but it's something there, because next you can start getting to 25, and honestly, that's where you get into that goal of having your schedule 3 years out, which is a big deal. And especially as we see how conference realignment is changing. You may have seen that I posted, and this is overtime right here. I don't normally go into overtime. This is overtime. You definitely saw where I posted, what Florida State's AD Michael Alford was saying and the numbers he was talking about. But go back and listen to that podcast from the Nolecast, Bud Elliott, Ingram Smith, and go listen to what they were saying about how college football is changing. One of the things they're talking about changing is these money games may be going away. Like these games where Miami plays the University of Miami and plays the University of Florida, and UCF and USF may be going away. And that's a huge revenue loss for some of these HBCUs. Now for FAMU, you got to think that year alone, you got 3 money games, not including the Classic. So Orange Blossom Classic is already dead and gone. Like you can stick a fork in that. Like I extremely doubt that you're gonna have FAMU down there twice in 1 year. Now you might try to move that South Carolina State game to like Jacksonville and do that again. I was there for that 1 year. I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't think I'd do it. But again, you already got 2 money games that season. That could be a thing of the past. So you definitely got to kind of watch that. Like that's something that they're saying may go away. So just keep an eye on that because while conference realignment may not affect FAMU and BCU as many of us think, it's definitely going to potentially affect our pockets if you start talking about those schools not playing HBCUs and us not getting that $300,000 to $400,000 check from those schools. I mean, again, just between that Miami and Troy game, you're probably looking at close to $1 million. Just to, I mean, yeah, you got to take the band to Miami. You probably got to take them to Troy. I haven't seen the contract on it. I'll try to Google it and see, but I'd be highly surprised that Miami game alone isn't $400,000, and then the game in Troy is in another 2. So you're starting to look at $600,000, $700,000, and you haven't played the rest of your season yet. I mean, I'm just saying that's a big revenue loss if those kind of games go away, and that further points out to where, hey, you got to start expanding and trying to maximize those opportunities to connect to college town because that's a district and that's a region that is, one, it's close to campus, but 2, it's enticing. If I'm a college student, there's a Publix right down the street there. So as a parent, I'm here for it. But then you also have all these other amenities that are kind of close. And you got to remember, these college students ain't first Patty Field's gone. So, but they're not going to college for that experience of a shared dorm space where you're sharing a dorm with 4 or 5 students and you're sharing a bathroom with an entire floor. That is the way of the dinosaur. And you can hate it or you can love it. You can call these kids spoiled, but you wouldn't send your kid to that kind of school in these modern times when you can have better options. So why do you expect others to do it? Just saying. And College Town is connected to some very nice apartments that are really in walking distance. So you start thinking about that kind of stuff, it behooves the university to connect to that area, as that's going to be part of your recruiting for the future generations and for future Rattlers. And you got to kind of look at it like this: FAMU and FSU, while you don't want them to merge, especially the FAMU, you do need them to collaborate. So that being stated, though, y'all, again, as I head out and went to a little overtime, hit a little ramble there, but big shout out to HBCU Digital Network. This is home. Also, Herb Seward and the Black Techies, man. Go check them out. Also, check out Herb in the basketball spaces. Herb is a basketball aficionado. CIAA tournament last week, and this week's CAA tournament. Yo, that dude is getting around. So proud of you, Herb. Big shout out all the way here from Sunshine State up to where you are up there. So, as always, y'all, this is going to be Fangs Up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.